You want to hear the call?
No, I don't. But I want to say
that's what I wanted on my license.
Hey, I want to. No, look, something happened, and all of a sudden, I don't want to like make you think I have a big head or anything, but
yeah.
Our show must have exploded over the last couple of weeks because we're getting tons of comments, and it's great. We're getting multiple people, Brian, answering the question that you put to the listeners.
Which is what?
Underdog.
Okay.
Shoeshine Boys' heroic alter ego.
Dang
so
it,
you were right.
Yep.
You were right about that.
Yep. There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
I'd forgotten about that.
Do you even remember it? Did
I
you
know
ever watch
Underdog.
It? Yeah. Yeah, he was a good guy.
Although I don't know if it's...
Wally Cox was the actor that did the voice.
Oh, I'm thinking the cartoon.
Yeah, he did the voice.
The dog. It's an actual dog that flies?
It's a cartoon dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not a real dog that
flies?
flies?
Not a real dog that flies.
Well, never mind. I don't know what you're talking about then.
There was a movie, I think, Underdog made, but...
Whatever. All right, let's move.
So good. I'm glad we have more than one listener. That's makes me feel good.
Or one listener that's commenting a lot. So.
Oh, it could be.
I really do appreciate all the comments. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of free speech, and
feel free to ask questions too.
And they said that it's hard to differentiate between what's commercial free speech because that was the idea. You're trademarking it; it's commercial, so you don't have the same free speech, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they're saying, how do you determine?
Well, if a corporation is a person, I think it does.
And how do you determine what is free speech versus, what is commercial versus not commercial?
Disparagement.
That gets really gray there. It's weird. Speaking of that, did you see I guess he's the village president or whatever, mayor, whatever. I think it's a village in Kalkaska, Michigan.
Yeah.
He
an elected official.
The leader.
Kalkaska is a small northern Michigan
I think it's a township.
No, it's probably a village, I think. Kalkaska is a little bit bigger than a township, I think.
Okay, so he's the village president then.
I think so.
Maybe that's what it is.
I don't think it's a township.
Whatever. He owns an old historic hotel.
An old lumbering town.
Yeah, it is. Yep. So lots of trout. Well, one trout.
Well,
it's very large.
They have the Brook Trout Festival.
Anyway, he had a Trump sign on his building, and people hated it and said he needed to take it down. It violated their ordinance, which you and I know, and we've talked about.
Yeah.
It may violate their ordinance, but their ordinance is unconstitutional probably because it seems from what I saw that it says political campaign signs can only be up during this time and other signs. And, of course, we know the Supreme Court says you can't regulate different signs differently based on their content. But the dude's getting a lot of heat for his Trump sign.
All over the world.
Yeah. All over. And they're planning protests in Kalkaska. I mean, it's a real small town. Planning protests.
It's the greatest business promotion ever for downtown Kalkaska.
There's going to be a lot of people there. His hotel might get destroyed and burned down. I don't know.
As a geologist, you want me, you know what the state soil is?
I don't care.
The Kalkaska soil.
Great. It's not important to anybody.
Tell that to the people in Kalkaska that have to try to grow something in sand. Because that's all it is.
It's not even that good.
No, it's not. But there's a lot of it.
The real problem with this guy, though, is apparently while being village president, he posts all sorts of dumb crap on his Facebook page and whatever social media. 100% a rant about how let's just kill all Muslims and that'll solve the problem.
He's a la Trump.
Absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely.
He is the stereotypical Trump supporter. Which is interesting because Kalkaska is, a lot of union and oil workers and Democrats in the area. So it's kind of interesting that
fairly
he's
conservative. Generally.
I don't think so.
He's a Republican?
I don't know.
I'm assuming he's a Trump supporter.
Well, I don't know if it's partisan or not.
No, Kalkaska is somewhat conservative.
Can you give me your evidence for that?
History? I know the area. I grew up 30 miles from there.
30 miles? Name a city 30 miles from here that you know whether it's conservative or liberal.
Detroit. Or, DeWitt.
Is?
I would say fairly conservative.
It probably is. I don't know. I haven't been there in a while. But I think you're
Next.
wrong. I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. It's
mostly
evidence of him having a Trump sign and
poor place.
He's got a Trump sign and everybody hates it. So
you're assuming everybody hates
every
it.
single person hates it. Everyone except for him.
What did we? Nate, you remember when we talked about generalizing?
You know what he did that was
making absolutes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I told you a funny story about it.
No, you didn't. You've never told me a funny story ever.
The Latino that was teaching us about stereotypes by asking what kind of music he liked, and it turned out it is salsa.
I thought that was ironic.
Yeah. Well, maybe. You know,
No, what would be ironic is if that he died when a can of beans fell on his head.
ironic would be if he liked country music. That would be ironic.
That's not ironic.
Yeah, it is.
There's no bus stop.
You know, this dude in Kalkaska, I think the worst thing that he did, the worst thing that he did was his last comment on one of his posts responding to all this was, "Why don't you come meet me and we'll discuss it face to face?" Like, tough guy.
Yeah.
And I think people are planning to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
good luck, Kalkaska.
Like I say, the town's getting a lot of publicity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There'll be a lot of people at the Trout Festival. All right, so how did we get? Oh, we got to the trademark. So good for them. That'll open up a lot of things with the Supreme Court decision.
By the way, I'm getting a lot of support from our listeners saying, yeah, they're all Democrats. Apparently, they protested yesterday in Kalkaska.
I don't believe Kalkaska is all Democrats.
Every one of them,
No, I don't
except for
believe
this guy. He's
right.
the only one.
Moving on, the FBI reviewed intercepted phone calls. How do you like that? The FBI intercepts phone calls between National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and the Russian ambassador and found no evidence of wrongdoing. Now, it's just part of the whole investigation, right? But so far, those phone calls, everything seems
There has
hunky-dory.
never... Look, I am not the biggest Trump supporter in the room. That'd be you. But there has never been any evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign or Trump himself and the Russians. There's been like anecdotal evidence of they had a discussion and so it must be collusion. But
there you go again.
There's really never been any real evidence that anybody's presented to me anyway. I mean, I've talked to all these people personally.
Your fancy college degree, collusion. What?
No,
you're using words to talk again. Now what?
I'm falling into the trap. I think it was Rush Limbaugh. He played a montage of every like liberal news agency using the exact same word, collusion. And so I just fell right into it. Yeah, they didn't know what it meant. Well, they might have. They're all pretty highly educated, right?
Yeah.
So.
So I just want.
Do you
to
need me to explain it to you?
Collusion?
Yes.
Here, drop. Here's. Bring the pad of paper in and
get the crayons.
Draw a picture for me.
Get the crayons.
This is what a collusion looks like, and this is where it goes, and that's why Mommy and Daddy love each other. So I don't know. I think that's what it means.
Now, when a man loves a woman, Brian,
there's collusion.
There's often
Some
collusion.
heavy collusion.
Well, yeah, there has to be after the kids are born.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
There is collusion, yeah. You have to
for sure.
survive.
Holy cow.
I like the saying that being a parent is like being pecked to death by a duck. Takes a long time. It's aggravating.
Well, it depends on the duck.
Well, venomous ducks would be a lot faster, but hardly any venomous ducks around anymore. Got the little fangs there. I stay away from those ducks. I duck hunt, but I don't want a mess. I don't want to mess with the venomous ducks.
Do you see this guy?
Platypuses have a little venom. You know that?
I did. I did know that, yeah.
I don't think you did.
I did. Did you see this guy? I think it was in Los Angeles. He was at a commuter train station this last week, and he was caught urinating in a plant.
Well, he's from Georgia.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. He was traveling. So
yeah, I know. But
kind of makes some sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I actually saw him urinating.
Did you?
Yes.
Like on video?
No, I was
you
there.
Were there. You were the plant?
I often hang out at the train station in L.A.
You pretend to be a tree in the corner.
No, I'm not pretending to be a tree. Which will get into our later topic about beards. All right, so what happened?
Well, he was peeing. You can't pee in public, apparently.
Yeah.
So a cop or security guard came over and said, "Can't you hold it? Can't you either find somewhere else?" And he said, "No, I've really got to go."
Well, yeah, it's a call of nature, so it shouldn't be against the law, right?
Somehow
you can fight that
an act
because
of God.
what is necessary is legal. There's a legal precedent for that.
Here's what I don't understand, and I didn't research it enough to see how this leap was made. Yeah. It went from him peeing and the cops somehow intervening to, we're searching your duffel bag.
Right.
Where we're going to find A huge weapons cache from what I saw. That was in the
for
the headline
LA.
anyway. An AR-15 semi-automatic rifle with a collapsible stock that was loaded with a single bullet for some reason. .40 caliber handgun. And I don't understand this part either. With markings indicating its use was restricted to law enforcement or government use.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. That must be a California thing. I don't know.
And this is reported from a local station.
Maybe it was
California.
Maybe it had on there for police use only.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Or maybe he bought it like at a police auction and it had, Davenport PD on it.
Well, look, I have a handgun. I used to before the boating accident. I had a handgun that was predominantly used in law enforcement.
But maybe that's what. This is restricted.
And that's what I'm saying. So
I don't know.
It's cool to have it because it's rare.
Unless it was fully automatic. That's the only thing I could think was a Glock.
Well, he did have several loaded high-capacity magazines. And
not high capacity.
2 small bags of bullets.
Yeah. I probably have more than that in my car.
He had silencers.
Homemade ones, right?
Yeah, it seemed to be machined from a machete-like knife.
A machete-like knife. Explain that to me.
Well, it's a knife that's like a machete.
How is that different from a machete or a knife? Other than size. Is it somewhat redundant?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
A rope, though.
Yeah, the rope. And the worst part?
I have rope in my car.
A Bible.
Ooh, that's what did it.
That is what did it. He had a Bible.
Maybe he had the Bible out, and that's what the cops saw as probable cause to search his bag.
Could be. That could be.
Wait a minute. And a notebook containing writings that the investigators are still trying to decipher.
Yeah.
So this guy probably
whatever
wasn't
that
right.
means. And one package of bullets indicated that they were hollow points.
Oh, no.
Which, as you know, Brian, according to the article, are a type of expanding bullet that is illegal.
Right.
I mean, all of this is illegal in California,
Right.
so especially the machete-type knife in the Bible. I mean, those are definitely illegal, but it's weird. I wish
Your question was, why
it
the
went
search?
from urinating, okay, give him a ticket, it's ridiculous, whatever,
Yeah.
give him a ticket. The search, the guy might have been nuts, and he might have said, hey, look at my duffel bag.
Or he might ask him, hey, can I look in your duffel bag? And he said, yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably what happened,
Yeah.
but... Because they said, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he was acting weird and gave him some suspicion.
Okay.
But the police said he didn't stand out at all. Other than him urinating, there was nothing about him that made us think there was anything going on.
And he's being held
weird.
on
Yeah.
$50,500 bond.
Well, because he said, Judge, I have $50,000 if you'll just let me out. And they're like, well, I'll get you.
Unless it's like per bullet.
Oh, do you think he had how much per bullet?
I'm just saying, it's there's probably some table that this was bail. It came to $5,000.
Came to $50,000, and they said, oh, you also had the Bible. It's another $500.
Can't be having any of that stuff.
It's crazy. I generally think that
on the other hand, he was probably crazy.
If you're not, but and that's look. He may have been, but as far as we know at this point, he didn't harm anybody.
No.
And so I'm not really on board with the pats on the back to the police saying, you saved a lot of lives.
Right.
I don't know. We don't know.
Don't
We don't know. And you can't restrict
know.
somebody's freedom because you
might do something.
think they might do something. You just can't do that.
Well, they do it all the time with speeding and drunk driving.
Worse yet, seatbelt laws, because you might hurt yourself and those sorts of things. Yeah, absolutely. I know we do it. I say you can't. Obviously, we can. We shouldn't.
We shouldn't. But the thing is, a seatbelt, what if you're ejected from the car
Yes.
and you hit a child with your body
Yes.
and you harm them?
Okay.
You didn't have your seatbelt on. It's your fault.
Yep. Sure. So let's talk about it then.
Okay.
Well, I mean, right? That's what I'm. So, geez, we really should talk about after the break. I want to talk about the girl that was convicted of involuntary manslaughter for supposedly causing her boyfriend to commit suicide.
Yeah, but there's more to it than that.
Potentially, but I want to talk about that. Let's do a question though. On that note,
this is a really long
question.
Answer.
Can you
question.
make it short?
The question's short.
Just do yes or no.
Okay. Other than Lady Justice and Lady Liberty, how many females have appeared on U.S. currency? And I'm going to say, well, that depends what you call currency.
But you're not going to tell anybody what you're calling currency for the question?
Well, again, is a collectible issued by the mint that doesn't get any circulation
What about a chicken?
currency. So we're going to get into that.